呀，咪我阿西巴的什么都有的关系的，有被的都是给。
Name's Alex, born in Houston, Texas. He is kinda hitting it though.
Like a bloody stone.
You see, each year about 40 million people go to Japan, and a concerning number of these people are Alex. People who have decided through years of anime, Studio Ghibli, and way too much time on the internet that Japan belongs to them. They have katanas in their room, a Duolingo streak they break every 4 days, and a very worn body pillow. And Japan has been very patient about this, but even Japan has its limits. They built a wall in front of Mount Fuji, not for security, not for construction, but to stop tourists from crowding a convenience store. A cherry blossom festival running for 1,000 years was recently cancelled because people couldn't behave. Himaji Castle now charges tourists 6 times what locals pay. And in Gion, they banned tourists from entire streets because people were harassing geisha for selfies. Japan is beautiful, I get it. You know, I might also be a little bit obsessed with Japan, but each year this obsession is getting worse. Let's talk about how this all began, why people love Japan, and what I think will happen to Japan in the next few years. So, how did Japan become the entire personality of a generation? The answer is stupidly simple. The anime pipeline. America bombed Japan, and Japan over decades strategically created their very own war plan against America, called anime. Pretty much every person under the age of 20 in any Western society cares more about a character or story arc in an anime than they do of any superheroes in their own country. America literally have the legendary Dave Blunts, and yet most of the young lads care more about some stupid made-up character. Anime on its own is not the problem. Not too long ago, I went to see Demon Slayer in the cinema with my brother, and honestly, I was at the edge of my seat. It was genuinely a good film. But when the end credits rolled, I just went on with my day. For some people, that is simply not an option. There are people who cannot just watch a show. They need to own it. And if you fucking dare mention you also enjoyed it, they will argue with you passionately that they enjoyed it more, making you, in their eyes, a fake fan. And this low-tier rage bait actually works. Alex was someone who enjoyed Attack on Titan, but to his demise, he couldn't recite what happened in the 4th minute of episode 26. And so for 6 days straight, every hope and dream he had was systematically destroyed by user Shinobi Soul 99 on r/AOT.
Maybe I'm not a true fan. Maybe I'm an imposter? This can't be.
Parents, all it takes is one interaction, one stranger online, and your completely normal child becomes this.
I've got the power of anime on my side.
And eventually, the bedroom isn't enough anymore. So, Alex books a flight, and honestly, who can blame him? Because Japan is something else. The food alone will change your life. 2 a.m. ramen that'll make you leave your body. Sushi cut and prepared using a katana by a 90-year-old grand master. Wagyu beef that'll convert any vegetarian to an Indian cow worshipper. Matcha Kit Kats, matcha ice cream, matcha lattes, matcha everything. Then the vending machines. My god, the vending machines. On every single street, hot food, cold drinks, full meals, mystery cans that nobody can translate but everyone buys. You could survive an entire week in Japan just from vending machines, and you'd die a happy man. Not to mention their fashion. Holy shit, they do not fuck around with their fits. I'm quite happy just rotating my 6 bum-ass fits with one somewhat good fit. Not these motherfuckers though. You'll see a corporate worker from the side of your eye just completely Bruce Wayne maxing you, not to mention their streetwear. Cannot forget the rural side of Japan either. The ancient temples, the 1,000-year-old shrines, zen-like gardens, cherry blossoms, rice farmers, a place of honor. Japan is genuinely, undeniably cool. And in 2025, 42 million people agreed. That's where the problem starts. Japan is quietly falling apart. Residents in Kyoto filed formal complaints because they genuinely cannot walk to their local shops anymore. The streets are too crowded, the prices are too high, and the neighborhood has become completely unrecognizable. Osaka locals took it further and started actual protests. Japanese people, who are famously known for being calm and not losing their shit, so to see them screaming, holding up signs with their coined term tourist pollution, you should know that it has gotten very out of hand. Ninjadera Temple in Kyoto quietly stopped all public access entirely. Not temporarily, they are fully shut down from the public because the volume of visitors made it impossible for them to preserve. And entire neighborhoods in Tokyo are pricing out the people who live there. Landlords are converting homes into Airbnbs, local restaurants are being replaced by overpriced ramen shops with English menus. Those are just the headlines. The real damage is quieter. It's a country slowly being hollowed out from the inside, and the people running Japan know exactly what they're doing. Here's the uncomfortable truth about Japan that nobody wants to say out loud. Japan need Alex. When you got 40 million of these rancid, culture hijacking weebs on your doorstep, your first instinct will probably be to open your door, close your door, go fetch your bazooka, and wait. They came with $60 billion though. You see? How could you say no to that? Tourism is one of Japan's biggest and fastest growing sources of income. The government are more than happy to allow tourists in because they come with money. So whilst the people of Kyoto are filing complaints, while Osaka residents are protesting in the streets, while temples are closing and neighborhoods are becoming unrecognizable, the Japanese government is sat in a room somewhere actively figuring out how to get more Alexes through the door. They're not ignoring the problem, they're funding it. And the saddest part of all this, Japan won't say anything about it. And I don't mean the government, I mean the people, the culture itself. There's this concept in Japanese culture called kokiyoyomu, reading the air. It means sensing the mood of a room and adjusting yourself accordingly without confrontation or outbursts. Just quiet, dignified acceptance of the situation. This ideology has become a major inspiration to people all over the world, but it's also exactly why Japan keeps getting taken advantage of. Tourists push further because nobody pushes back. The government sells more because nobody stops them. The culture gets consumed because the people holding it are too dignified to cause a scene. Kuki-wo Yumo was never meant to be a survival strategy, but somewhere along the way, Japan's greatest strength became its biggest vulnerability. The calm that inspired the world became the silence that the world learned to exploit. And where does this go? Honestly, I think it gets worse before it gets better. Japan's population is rapidly collapsing. The government is becoming more dependent on tourist money every single year. By 2030, they are projected to hit 60 million tourists annually. 60 million. In a country that is already breaking under 42. So the barriers get bigger and the ticket prices get higher. And the locals either have to learn to live with it or they leave. Young Japanese people are already moving away from tourist-heavy cities. The very people who carried the culture forward are being priced out and crowded out of the places their families built. And look, Japan will still be beautiful in 10 years, but there's a version of Japan, the quiet, unbothered, living version that is slowly disappearing. And somewhere out there, the people who watched all of this happen from the very beginning have stopped waiting for it to get better.